Right now at 6, KHOU is standing for Houston, helping a homeowner still dealing with a Harvey debris pile.
And the man who accused the Katy superintendent of bullying him back in middle school speaks out after the superintendent says he wants to meet with him.
Plus, a Pearland man has a close encounter with a massive alligator. What he says he'll do if he runs into this guy again.
And tonight, standing for Houston, helping people still dealing with all kinds of debris 8 months after Harvey. And one pile of trash just keeps on growing.
That's until KHOU 11 got involved. The debris dilemma is happening in the Bear Creek area. That's where our Jason Miles is live. Help is now on the way for these families, Jason.
Well, it got here. It's nice when you can come check out a problem and then help fix it. The debris is history, so to speak. This pile wasn't terribly huge, but it was quite nasty.
I think it's kind of becoming an area dump.
From sheetrock to old insulation.
It's just worrisome.
And even potential hazards in plain sight. I mean, look, there's a knife.
There's literally a knife right there. Oh my goodness.
This pile of debris sitting on the shoulder of South Ivy Circle did not sit well with neighbors.
The pile started out really about 8 feet here, and then a couple of months later it was down here.
They say the pile expanded after the county stopped regular collection of Harvey debris, and since then others have piled on.
I have no idea what kind of health hazards or toxic conditions are going on under there, but that's also a concern.
There was a dog inside.
The homeowner told me Harvey destroyed both her house and nearby business, and her family didn't readily have hundreds of dollars on hand to get the debris removed.
Would you accept help if somebody helped move this stuff?
Of course. I mean, if they're willing to help, I mean, we will. Definitely will.
I made a few calls and finally got a private company to come pick up the debris free of charge. Kevin Poe with Trash Hauling Fast hauled away this trash if only Harvey's continued presence was so easily removed. And back here live, I can't tell you enough about Mr. Poe, who hauled away this trash really just within the last hour or so. He says it's not charity, it's community. But the homeowner is not entirely off the hook. The county actually cited her, and she has about 30 days to remove other piles of debris on her property as she continues to recover from Harvey. Guys?
Yeah, 8 months later and still all these problems, and the problems go on. Thank you, sir. We're following breaking news right now. For taxpayers, you are getting an extension to file your taxes. That's because of IRS computer problems today, preventing some people who were trying to file their taxes. It appears that website is back up and running. We have all the details on this issue. Just go to our website, KHOU.com.
Now to what went wrong aboard that ill-fated Southwest flight bound for Texas. An engine exploded on the plane. It nearly sucked one woman out of the aircraft. You can hear the panic from newly released air traffic control recordings. Go ahead, take a listen.
No, it's not on fire, but part of it's missing. They said there was a hole and someone went out.
The flight had just left LaGuardia Airport in New York City and was bound for Dallas when it made an emergency landing in Philadelphia. A woman from New Mexico was killed and several others injured. Now the National Transportation Safety Board is launching an investigation after they say the engine blew out and pieces of it flew into a window, breaking it. Rebecca Lopez is live at Love Field with more from the panicked passengers.
Flight 1380 was headed here to Love Field from New York City when it had to make that emergency landing in Philadelphia. Passengers arriving here from other destinations say they were nervous when they heard about what happened on that flight. Now, here are some of the pictures posted on social media from passengers on that plane. Now, these were posted on Facebook by Marty Martinez from Dallas. He says the engine exploded and blew the window 3 seats away from where he was sitting. He says the woman who was sitting in the window seat was critically injured, oxygen mask deployed. He shot some footage of that. You can also see where they are rapidly descending and it's very bumpy. He shows video of himself with his oxygen mask. As you can imagine, that was frightening for all on board that plane. The pilot did have to descend very quickly. You can also see after the plane lands, there are firefighters on the plane, and eventually you see the passengers getting off. And from the pictures and video, you can also tell where the engine is damaged. And then now one passenger on Flight 1380, Christopher Johnson, posted these pictures on Twitter. He says, "These are the heroes of Southwest Airlines Flight 1380. New York to Dallas. We lost an engine mid-flight and they guided us back to Philly." We are waiting here for people to begin arriving from Philadelphia, some of those passengers that were on that flight, to hear their experiences and about what happened on that plane. In Dallas, Rebecca Lopez, back to you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. And you can listen to the air traffic audio from the flight on our website, KHOU.com. And we'll have the very latest that's coming up tonight on KHOU 11 News at 10.
The superintendent of Katy Schools now says he would like to meet with the man who accused him of tormenting him at school decades ago. So what does his accuser think? Jessica Borg is talking to him tonight.
His spokesperson tells me the superintendent is interested in speaking with the man who accused him of bullying him 40 years ago. It has been weeks since Greg Gay confronted Katy School Superintendent Lance Hint at a public school board meeting. That meeting in part was to address bullying in schools. Gay got up and claimed Dr. Hint took part in a vicious assault on him when the boys were in junior high school together, saying Hint was with a group of kids who beat him up and shoved his head in a toilet. Gay says he's pleased to hear that Hint is now willing to have an open dialogue with him, but would prefer to have an admission to the assault. The superintendent is not admitting to anything, nor is he denying his role in it either.
Even if he'd have said, "I don't remember doing this, but I'm sorry that it happened to you," let's work together and try to change some policy to make this better for other kids, because that's the only reason I came forward.
Now, Gay says the story of his confrontation at that school board meeting has garnered international attention and that he has received hundreds of messages of support so far on social media from people who've been bullied themselves. Gay makes it clear, though, that he thinks Dr. Hint is the right man to help end bullying in his district. Now, I'm told the superintendent will not be making public when that meeting with Gay will take place. He wants that meeting to be held privately. We will keep you posted. In Katy, Jessica Borg, KHOU 11 News.
A big move by Starbucks. Today, the company announced it is closing more than 8,000 stores for part of a day.
Yeah, instead of selling coffee, the company says it will be conducting racial bias training. This decision comes after 2 black men were arrested at a Starbucks in Philadelphia. The men were simply there waiting for a friend. That led to protests all across the country, and Starbucks has been in damage control mode ever since. The training will happen on May 29th. How about reactions on social media? One person saying, "I'm actually glad Starbucks is closing stores and doing racial bias training. It's damage control, however. And the most depressing issue here is we even have to have training for folks in the first place."
And this person says, "I heard there's another day the world may end."
We've been asking you, so what do you think about this move by Starbucks? Do you think it is the right response, or should they do more? You can see most people think it is the right thing to do with 78%. You still have time to weigh in. Go to KHOU.com/vote now.
The weather, it's warming up. Another day full of sunshine, but get ready. Those bad hair days, well, you know they're ahead.
I hate those bad hair days. Just messes me up, puts me in a bad mood, David.
Me too. Hey, look.
This is important stuff to about 50% of the population, plus some.
Okay.
The worst of the hair day is going to be Saturday when this new storm system rolls in. So if you got plans for the weekend, we'll be talking about that. This afternoon, as you pointed out, it has just been gorgeous. This is our WeatherBug camera at the Kemah Boardwalk. What a spectacular afternoon. Look at all the people. Parking lot's starting to fill up. I've seen people riding the rides out there. If you're heading out this evening, whatever you're doing, it will be gorgeous. 79 at 7 o'clock, 74 by 9 o'clock, 71 by 11 o'clock, mild temperatures, but still very low humidity, dew points in the 50s. So it's a beautiful evening ahead. However, looking back on this day, April 17th and 18th of 2016, we were right now in the beginning stages of what would end up being the tax day floods with a radar that showed thunderstorms moving into northwest Harris County. Coming up, we'll talk and remember a little bit more about this big tax day flood. We'll compare it to Harvey a little bit as well, and I'll show you what bayous that day had the worst of the flooding. Back with